Today we're going to make a shaker lemon pie. First, you're going to want to zest 2 lemons. Then set it aside in a ramekin. Once you've zested the lemons, then you're going to need to cut the lemons as thinly as possible, removing the seeds. If you don't cut the lemons thin enough, the pie will be bitter and too chewy. Then macerate the lemons in 2 cups of sugar, along with a pinch of salt and the zest of the lemons you just cut. Make sure that you blend the mixture together well, so that all the juices of the lemon can be extracted. Once you mix up your lemons and sugar, then you're going to want to cover the entire thing up with plastic wrap for 4 to 5 hours, or at best overnight, so it can fully stew. Okay, now we're going to make our pie crust using a simple 3:1 flour to fat ratio, meaning 3 cups of flour to 1/2 cup of butter and 1/2 cup of shortening. So I find that shortening and butter works the best because the shortening gives it a flakiness while the butter contributes to the flavor. If it's all butter, then it gets a little dense, and if it's all shortening, then it's really flaky, but with less flavor. So now you're going to want to combine the fat with the flour. I usually use my hands, and what you want is a texture that's about the size of small peas. I had to switch to a bigger bowl because there was too much dough. Now you're adding a 1/4 cup of water, a little bit at a time, to the dough. You're going to want to press it up against the sides of the bowl. The dough should stick together and should be pliable, but definitely not sticky. If it's sticky, then you added too much water. You should work the dough as little as possible, as this will preserve the gluten inside the dough, meaning that it's not going to be tough when you bake it. For this double crust pie, you're going to want to separate the larger ball of dough into 2 sections, and then wrap them in saran wrap to put in the fridge for at least an hour so that you can roll it out. Roll out the dough on some floured wax paper. That way it's easier for you to turn the dough and roll it into a rough circle. Peel off the wax paper so that the dough falls into the pan evenly. Then press the dough to shape into the contours of the pan. Fix the edge with some water and excess dough. Now back to the filling. So you're going to want to crack 4 eggs into a separate bowl, and then blend those eggs together. Then add 2 tablespoons of flour and whisk it all together. Then add a tablespoon of sugar and whisk that into the mix. Melt 2 tablespoons of butter and add that to your macerated lemon mix. Then add the egg mixture to the lemons and butter. Then mix together and make sure that you're getting the egg mixture to be evenly distributed, otherwise some parts will be more lemony than the others. Fill up the pie pan and make sure that the lemons and lemon rinds are evenly distributed. Roll out your top crust on another piece of wax paper and repeat the same process as before. Moisten the edge with some water, and then press down with a fork to make sure that you're sealing the edge. Cut steam vents in the top of the pie. Finally, brush on some whole milk on the top to get a nicely browned finish. Bake at 400 for 25 minutes, then rotate the pie and bake at 375 for another 25.